Good morning. Hey, a particular line of the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali came to mind today. I admit that I've said the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali are 108 terse aphorisms, spiritual teachings condensed into very cryptic, very tight little lines of knowledge that have been unwound by scholars and humans and philosophers and for hundreds of years now. And there are certain lines that get a lot of attention. The very second line, it's called Yoga 1.2, is the one that is probably the most well known, if it's well known at all. I'm not claiming that it is, but it's the one that says Yoga Chitta Vritti Narodaha. And I've said that in class billion times, roughly 1 billion times. And Yoga Chitta Vritti Narodaha, yoga is the stilling of the movement of our mind. There's sort of a cryptic line just prior. It's Yoga 1.1. Nobody ever mentions that line, and it's some kind of Sanskrit. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I'm not going to butcher it. I'm going to honor it to some degree, but it says Atha, A-T-H-A, Atha, now. It says, now we're going to learn something. The great system of teaching begins with a very straightforward comment. Patanjali says, now we're going to learn about yoga, yoga being the union of the mind and learning about it. So now we're going to learn about the yoga. Then it says yoga is the calming or the cessation or the termination of the movement of the mind. But then there's this line, and this is every bit as profound. And it says, again, forgive the Sanskrit, but even by trying to say it, it helps. Yoga 1.3, dig this. It says, Tada drastu sarvrupre vastanan. Tada drasta savrupe vadastanan. I like how it says tada. But anyway, tada means then, drastu means seer or witness, savrupe means identity or true essence, avastastanam means state of abiding. So what does that mean? It says, by stilling the wavelengths of our mind, pure awareness itself, our ground of being naturally and spontaneously abides or appears inside of us. Now, again, I'm always struck by the staggering similarity between that and the line from the Old Testament that says, be still and know that I'm God. So this week we've been talking about the disruptions in our bathtub, the things inside of us that cause disturbance or disruption. And it's interesting to think of it momentarily as an analogy being a body of water, and all this disturbance going on in the water. If you're looking at a little pool of water and the surface is disturbed, you can't see very far into the water at all. And you know what an interference pattern looks like. You throw a pebble in over here, and then one over there, and then one over there, and then one over there, and you get all these concentric circles running into each other. And just like with sound, water acts in much the same way. It creates interference patterns, which it goes on to say later in that scripture, it says patterns by themselves are not bad things. We all know beautiful patterns, the Sistine Chapel, the Beethoven's Ninth. There are patterns of such staggering beauty that represent and symbolize and express the beauty of consciousness itself. And there are patterns that don't. And we don't really have to worry about the patterns inside of us that are vibrating of great beauty and express the highest inside of us. It's these patterns that are blocking us, the ones that are occluding a deeper vision into our consciousness, the ones that are preventing that third line where it says, upon the stilling of the mind, then natural true identity, the witness, the pure observer itself, becomes evident, becomes obvious, becomes unmistakable. It's not something that's struggled for or we try to make it, it's always there. And so I was thinking of if on the bottom of a swimming pool there was a great line of truth written on the bottom of a swimming pool, and yet kids were always jumping in the pool and the water was always disturbed, there'd be this incredible truth, this extraordinary, ineffable wisdom written on the bottom of the swimming pool, and yet we would never see it. We would never even realize it's there. And so, to some degree, we would be living in a dream. We'd be living in a reality that, however real it seemed, with its people, places, and things, its disturbance and disruptions, its highs and its lows, we would never really be close to waking up from that dream. And so we're given counsel in this yoga scripture. It says, now we're going to learn about union. We realize we have to still the movements of our mind, or something's going to be blocked from our awareness. Once our minds become still or more still, I don't think they have to become perfectly still. I think it's an incremental stillness. Once this stillness is established inside of us, then the dream, the delusion, possibly even the nightmare of existence is washed away. And where do the ripples in water go when the water calms down? They disappear. And what's inside of us that's been bothering us or tormenting us, we don't have to fight it, it's gone. That's the miracle of it, it's simply removed. So thus are the advantages of meditating and calming these patternings or movings of our mind. Of course, we love our beautiful patterns, and it's very much also true that by stilling our mind, we allow the potential of our mind to make new patterns, more beautiful patterns, more expressive patterns available, and then we start to pattern that, and we might call that heaven on earth. Anyway, sort of esoteric teaching today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow.